Hi everyone, Namaste. I hope all of you understand the last class about introduction of thermodynamics and the remaining whatever the topics are there, we will discuss now. So in the last topic, some important definitions like what is a system, surroundings, and some important properties like extensive properties, intensive properties, and also some process like isothermal, adiabatic, reversible, irreversible. So mostly all definitions we completed. Now, actually, in the last class, I told that thermodynamics is the study of transfer of energies between one body to another body. That means between system to surrounding. So, the exchange of energy can be takes place in the two ways. The exchange of energy that can be takes place either by heat or by work. These are the two ways to transfer energy. So energy can be transferred from one body to another body in the form of heat or in the form of work. So work is, we know that it is a mechanical work and the remaining non-mechanical is the heat. So heat and work both are path functions that already we completed in the last class. That means these two depends on whatever the path they are transferred. So the energy can be exchanged either in the form of heat or in the form of work. So these are the two ways to transfer the energy. So one by one we will see. The first one is heat. So what is heat? So most of the people say that it is the form of energy. Actually, it is not a form of energy. It is a mode of transfer of energy. It is a one way to transfer energy between two bodies. For example, suppose if I have to transfer my money into another account. So there are number of ways to transfer energy, money from one account to another account. Suppose we are using Google Pay, Phone Pay. So Phone Pay app is an app which transfers money from one account to another account. It doesn't mean Phone Pay is money. So Phone Pay is not money. So it is an app which transfers money from one account to another account. Same like it is not actual energy. It is a mode of energy transfer. So it transfers from one system to another system or system to surrounding, surrounding to system. So energy can be transferred in the form of heat. So when heat will be transferred? When the two bodies have different temperatures. When there is a temperature difference, then the energy will be transferred in the form of heat. So heat is a mode of transfer of energy between two bodies having different temperatures. So heat is a mode of transfer of energy between two bodies having different temperature. Whenever two bodies have different temperature from one body to another body, that means mostly from hot body to cold body, energy will be transferred. So that transfer of energy simply we are calling as heat. So in the form of heat, energy transferred from hot body to cold body. So heat is a mode of transfer of energy. This heat always represented with Q. So Q is the heat. Now this heat is always directly proportional to temperature difference between the bodies. The amount of heat transferred between one body and another body is always directly proportional to temperature difference between the two bodies. If more temperature difference is there, that means more energy will be transferred. From this, Q is, if proportional we are converted to equal, one constant will come. That constant we are representing with C. into delta T. Now this constant we are calling as specific heat capacity. C is the specific heat capacity, and this C value will be equal to Q divided by delta T. If this heat capacity is applicable to 1 gram of system, then representing with M. If it is applicable to 1 mole of the system, then it can be represented with Q by N into delta T. Here M is the mass of the system, here N is the moles of the system. So C is called specific heat capacity. When we are mass taking in grams, this is called specific heat capacity. When we are taking in number of moles, this is called molar heat capacity. When N we are using, it is called molar heat capacity. When M we are using, it is called specific heat capacity. So heat is a mode of transfer of energy where temperature difference is applicable. Whenever temperature difference is between two bodies are there, energy will be transferred in the form of heat. So heat is directly proportional to temperature difference. More the temperature difference, more the amount of energy transfer. So from that Q is equal, one constant will come. That constant represented with C is also called specific heat capacity. The specific heat capacity applicable to mass of the system in grams, whereas molar heat capacity applicable to number of moles of the system. When N we are using, that is called molar heat capacity. M we are using, that is called specific heat capacity. So we'll see some definitions also. Specific heat capacity. What is specific heat capacity? See this specific heat capacity. C is equal to Q by M into delta T. So Q is nothing but heat. So specific heat capacity definition. It is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature by 1 Celsius per 1 gram substance. Then that is called specific heat capacity. Any 1 gram substance temperature, if you are raising by 1 degree Celsius, then we have to pass some amount of heat. That amount of heat is called specific heat capacity. So the definition of specific heat capacity: amount of heat required to raise the temperature by 1 Celsius by of 1 gram substance. So specific heat capacity Q is equal to, C is equal to Q by M into delta T. Here M is the mass in grams, delta T is the temperature difference, where Q is the heat. So that is the definition of specific heat capacity. Similarly, another definition is molar heat capacity. So molar heat capacity definition: it is also amount of heat required for 1 mole of substance to increase the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So for 1 mole of substance to increase the temperature by 1 Celsius, how much heat is required? That amount of heat is called molar heat capacity. It is represented with C, which is equal to Q by N into delta T. So what is the difference, simple difference between this one is mostly specific heat capacity represented with small c, whereas molar heat capacity represented with capital C. When our capital C we are using, that is called molar heat capacity. Small c we are using, that is called specific heat capacity. Both are represented with C. Specific heat capacity applicable to 1 gram substance, whereas molar heat capacity applicable to 1 mole of substance. So this is the heat capacity, molar heat capacity and specific heat capacity. Now just we use some formulas, the derivations we'll see later. C is equal to Q by N into delta T. Suppose this is a molar heat capacity. If this molar heat capacity, if you are taking a constant volume, then it is represented with CV, which is equal to QV by N into delta T. Similarly, if you are taking a constant pressure, it is represented with Cp, which is equal to Qp by N into delta T. So this is the molar heat capacity at constant volume, and this is the molar heat capacity at constant pressure. So the relation between Cp minus Cv is equal to gas constant R. How it will come? We will derive later. Just remember the formula. Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Also, the ratio of Cp by Cv is represented with gamma. So this ratio is called Poisson's ratio. Two important formulas. Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Cp by Cv is equal to gamma. So Cv means heat capacity at constant volume. Cp means heat capacity at constant pressure. So how these formulas are kept, we will derive in the next topic. Just remember the formulas. Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Cp by Cv is equal to gamma. The gamma is called Poisson's ratio. Now the values of Cv is always equal to F by 2R. Where F is degree of freedom. So Cv value is equal to F by 2R. F is equal to degree of freedom. So this degree of freedom value depends upon nature of the gas what we are taking. So gases can be, different types of gases are possible. That is monoatomic, diatomic and polyatomic gases. So gases can be monoatomic, diatomic, polyatomic. If the gas what we are taking monoatomic gas examples like helium, neon, argon, all noble gases are monoatomic. That means only one atom is present. These are called monoatomic. For monoatomic gases, the degree of freedom value will be 3. Similarly, for diatomic gas like N2, O2, H2, etc., the degree of freedom value will be 5. For polyatomic gas, polyatomic means tri or more. This is mono, di, remaining tri, tetra, all are called polyatomic. Example NH3, SO2, etc. So all polyatomic gas, the degree of freedom will be 6. So monoatomic degree of freedom is 3, diatomic degree of freedom will be 5, triatomic or polyatomic degree of freedom will be 6. This degree of freedom will come in the actual physics topic. So remember these values. For which gas, what is the value of degree of freedom? Monoatomic 3, diatomic 5, polyatomic 6. So the value of Cv is equal to F by 2R. So for monoatomic gas, this will be 3 by 2R. For diatomic gas, 5 by 2R. For polyatomic gas, that will be 3R. That means 6 by 2R, that is equal to 3R. So this is Cp value. Similarly, Cp, already we know that Cp minus Cv is equal to R. From this Cp is equal minus will come that side plus Cv plus R. So the value of Cp is equal Cv, that is F by 2 R plus R. So this is the Cv value, this is the Cp value. So the ratio of Cp by Cv representing with gamma, this is called Poisson's ratio. This Poisson ratio value will come 1.66 for monoatomic, 1.4 for diatomic, 1.33 for polyatomic. So the ratio is very important. The gamma values must be 1.66 for monoatomic gases. Why? Because for monoatomic gas, degree of freedom will be 3. This will be 3 by 2R, 3 by 2R plus R. Both on dividing will get 1.66. Same like by applying F value 5, the ratio of Cp by Cv will be 1.4. For polyatomic 1.33. These values are most important, will come in useful. So gamma values 1.66, gamma values monoatomic is greater than, diatomic is greater than polyatomic. So this will be 1.66, 1.4, 1.33. So just remember these formulas: Cp by Cv value and Cp minus Cv is equal to R. So the derivations we'll see in the next topic. So this is about heat. So as I said, heat is a mode of transfer of energy when temperature differences are there. Always heat transferred from hot body to cold body. So based on this heat, the zeroth law of thermodynamics is explained. You will see what is the zeroth law of thermodynamics. Zeroth law of thermodynamics. So the zeroth law of thermodynamics states that when two systems or two bodies are thermal equilibrium with the third body separately, suppose you are taking two bodies, one is A, another one is B. These two bodies are thermal equilibrium with the third body. So A is thermally equilibrium with C, B is also thermally equilibrium with C. When two bodies separately thermally equilibrium with the third body, the remaining two bodies also in thermally equilibrium. That is the statement of zeroth law. When two bodies separately thermally equilibrium with the third body, the remaining two bodies also in thermally equilibrium. So what is thermally equilibrium means? Suppose its temperature is T1, its temperature is T2, its temperature is T3. First, suppose A and C we are connecting, its temperature is T1, its temperature is T3. Both are different temperature. But whenever we are connecting these systems, heat will be transferred from hot body to cold body. Whenever heat is transferring, the hot body temperature will be decreases and cold body temperature will be increases. At a particular stage, both temperatures must be equal. Then the two bodies are called in thermally equilibrium. Same like B and C also having different temperature, but after some time from hot body to cold body, heat will be transferred. Due to transfer of heat, so temperature finally will be equal. So that is called thermally equilibrium. So zeroth law says that when two bodies separately thermally equilibrium with the third body, The two bodies also in thermal equilibrium. So what is the zeroth law statement? Zeroth law of thermodynamics. So zeroth law of thermodynamics simply related to thermal equilibrium. Here also heat is transferring. Whenever suppose hot bodies are there, how heat is transferred simply see this. When hot bodies are present, suppose here we are taking gas and temperature is high. Here the motion of particles, kinetic energy is high. Particles are very fastly moving. Here particles are slowly moving. When heat is transferring, here also particles are fastly moving. So kinetic energy will become equal because kinetic energy is directly proportional to temperature. So that is the transfer of energy in the form of heat. In two different temperatures bodies are connecting. Energy transferred one body to another body in the form of heat. So heat is a mode of transfer of energy. So that is the zeroth law of thermodynamics. So we completed heat. So heat is the mode of transfer of energy when temperature difference are existing between two bodies. From hot body to cold body, energy will be transferred in the form of heat. Now remember one thing, the value of Q will be positive when heat is transferred to system and the Q will be negative when heat is transferred from system. If system is transferring some heat, that means system is losing heat, sign will be negative. If heat is transferred to the system, so heat will be increases, Q sign will be positive. So Q always positive, heat is transferred to the system and heat will be negative, heat is transferred by the system or from the system. So this is the signs of the Qs. Now another energy transfer will be work. Work is also another mode of transfer of energy. It is also path function. It always depends on path it is transferred. So both heat and work, both are path function. These are not state functions. So work is a path function. Now we know the work. There are number of types of works are there. Mechanical works is there, force into displacement. Also gravitational works is there, MGH. Also electrical work is there, charge into potential. So all there are number of works are there. Mostly we will here observe in gases mechanical work. So we know that work is equal to force into displacement, force into distance. Suppose we are taking a cylinder. Inside this cylinder we are taking ideal gas. So we are taking ideal gas. Any gas, just normally we are taking ideal gas. With the help of piston, we are applying some external pressure. So the pressure what we are applying is called external pressure. Also here gas also contains some pressure. That is called internal pressure. When internal pressure of the gas is more than the external pressure, now this system will do some work on the piston. That is called work done by the system. When system is taken as a gas is a system. If the pressure of gas is more than the external pressure, then this system will push the piston outside. That means it is doing some work on the piston. So that is called work done by the system. Similarly, if the external pressure is more than the internal pressure, then that is called work done on the system. So work is two types. One is the work done on the system. Work done on the system always applicable when external pressure is greater than internal pressure. Similarly, work done by the system when internal pressure is greater than external pressure. So, work done on the system, work done by the system. For work done on the system, work will be always positive. For work done by the system, work will always negative. Why? Because work done on the system. So system is getting some work from the surrounding. So here increasing. That's why work will be positive. Similarly, work done by the system. System is doing some work. That means system is losing energy. That's why work will be negative. So work always positive when work done on the system, and work always negative when work done by the system. Here signs are exactly opposite to physics actually. In physics, work done on the system mostly we take as negative. I think work done by the system we take as positive. Just sign is opposite. Process is same. In chemistry, work done on the system is positive, by the system is negative. So first we derive the formula for work. Use these formulas. Now see this. So this is the initial volume Vi. Initially gas has this much of volume Vi. But on applying external pressure, suppose here external pressure is greater than internal pressure. So piston will move inside. Suppose up to here piston is came. So this will be final volume. So change in volume Vf minus Vi. Final volume minus initial volume. So the length it is traveled is L. So according to work formula, work is equal to force into displacement. We know that pressure is equal to force by area. That means force is equal to pressure into area. So in place of force, we can use pressure term. Pressure into area into distance traveled is L. So this pressure, we are applying pressure is PEX, external pressure, into area into length is equal to volume. The change in volume Pf minus Vi. Simply we can write delta V. So this is the work formula in terms of pressure and volume. So by applying some pressure, how much volume is changed? That is called work. So work is equal to Px into delta V. But here always we use one conventional sign minus. So this sign is called conventional sign. Why it is used minus sign? Because when we are compressing, volume will be decreasing. Final will be less, initial will be high. So delta V will be negative. And this negative will be cancelled. The total work will be positive. When our work done on the system, the work will get positive when work on the system. Here we are doing some work on the system. Due to that, volume is decreasing. Delta V sign will be negative. Negative will become positive. Similarly, work will be negative. I already told, when work done by the system. Why? Because say, if system has more pressure, then system will be pushes piston outside. Volume will be increases. When volume increasing, delta V will be positive. Positive into negative will be negative. So when system is doing work, delta V will be positive. The total sign will be negative. Work is done on the system. Delta V will be negative. Negative into negative will be positive. So that's why work done on the system, work is positive. Work done by the system, work is negative. So this is the most important formula. Work is equal to minus Px into delta V. This work is also called irreversible work. When our constant pressure we are using, it is called irreversible work. Work irreversible formula minus Px into delta V.